All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about 5 crucial signs that your brain might be slowing down. And you know what's wild? These are things most of us just brush off every single day.
I mean, really, take a second and think about it. Have you had that feeling where your thoughts are a bit foggy? Or you're just not as quick on your feet as you once were? It's a feeling a lot of us have. But what if it's more than just being tired?
And this is the part that's kind of scary. Your brain might be getting weaker, not from some big dramatic event, but from the little, almost invisible habits you do every single day.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about forgetting things and losing focus. We're going to look at 2 of the biggest signs, the ones that are super easy to blame on just being busy or stressed out, but they might be telling a much bigger story.
So the very first warning sign, and honestly, probably the most common one, has everything to do with memory.
And look, we're not talking about forgetting some obscure fact. It's the small stuff. It's that moment you walk into a room and completely forget why. Or you unlock your phone for no reason. Or you lose your train of thought right in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, those moments.
And what's really going on here isn't random. It happens when our brains are just totally overloaded, or when that muscle we call focus starts to get weak. Sure, it feels normal in our crazy, nonstop world, but if it's happening all the time, that's a huge red flag that your mental sharpness is taking a hit.
And that leads us perfectly into the second sign, because these 2 are totally connected. How long can you actually focus on one task without reaching for your phone or getting distracted? A few minutes? If your mind is always jumping around, always looking for the next shiny object, you're basically training it to live in a state of distraction. And this right here perfectly captures our modern problem. All that constant scrolling, all that super fast content, it's literally rewiring our brains. It's teaching us to avoid the hard work of deep thinking, the very thing that keeps our mind strong. Let's move on, because this isn't just about focus. It also ties into your mental energy and how fast you can process things.
Which brings us to sign number 3. I have a feeling this one's going to feel very familiar to a lot of you. You ever have one of those days? You didn't run a marathon, you barely left the house, but by the evening, you feel completely mentally drained, just exhausted. That's what we're talking about. And listen, this has nothing to do with being lazy. It's the direct result of your brain constantly switching gears. Every single time you jump from an email to a text and back to what you were doing, you pay a little price. It's like a tiny mental tax that adds up and just drains your energy.
All right, next up, let's talk about speed. Not how fast you can run, but how fast you can think. This is when you start to notice it takes you just a little bit longer to get what someone's saying. Or you're a step behind in a fast conversation. It can even make you second-guess yourself when you need to make a quick decision.
And this is so important to understand. This isn't just about being sleepy. It's a real sign that your brain's actual processing speed, its horsepower, basically, is starting to slow down.
Okay, so we've covered 4 huge signs. But this 5th one, I'd argue this one is the most dangerous of all. Why? Because it's a choice.
Let that just sink in for a second. Your brain is a muscle. And just like any other muscle, if you don't challenge it, if you don't give it a workout, it doesn't just stay the same, it gets weaker.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most critical sign. This is exactly why this habit is so destructive. When you actively choose to avoid learning something new or trying a hard puzzle or reading a challenging book, you're basically telling your brain, hey, you can take a break now. You can power down. And over time, without that challenge, your ability to think clearly just fades. So, we've laid out all 5 signs, but this isn't meant to be depressing. It's about awareness. It's about taking back control. I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. How many of those hit a little too close to home? 1? 2? Maybe all of them. The first step is just admitting it. But here's the best part. This is not permanent. This is your game plan. It starts with recognizing the signs, but then you have to actively choose to challenge your mind. If you do that, you can absolutely reclaim your mental sharpness. In the end, it all comes down to one simple, powerful idea. Your mental sharpness isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you build. And that work, it can start right now, today.